Hello, everyone, and welcome to 3 Minute Warning.
Show where we take 5 of the hottest topics in sports and break them down into 3 minutes or less. My name is Michael Medina, and with me, as always, my good buddy David Griffin.
We also have Stephen Fox up in the booth, our producer, making it happen. Say hello, Stephen.
What's up, guys?
So we're going to talk right about the Final Four.
Yes.
Big day.
Huge
day. Huge weekend. We got the national championship game is tonight in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Of course, we have Duke versus Wisconsin, number one versus number one. But the big story, not Duke, Michigan State, which we will talk about, but we have to first talk about Kentucky and Wisconsin.
Hell of a game, right?
Hell of a game. Great game. Look at those guys. Look at them celebrating.
Ooh, they are happy.
I just feel bad for the kids. These guys are young. They're all crying and everything. You feel bad.
Very emotional.
Very
That's
emotional.
what makes college sports so great,
about
though,
the
isn't
kids.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all about
but
the
just
kids.
a lot of emotion, a lot of heart. But, like, this was a hell of a game. Classic game.
Close game. Close game. Kentucky had the lead, 4-point lead, 6 minutes left. Had the lead. I thought they were probably going to pull it out and win. I mean, they're the top dogs. They don't seem like they're ever afraid to lose. They never panic.
Yeah,
They've been down before. They've
Notre
had close
Dame.
games before.
Notre Dame game was a perfect
never
example of
panicked.
that. Absolutely
They
not.
didn't panic this time, but I think they got outplayed. So, I mean, the question is, did Kentucky lose or did Wisconsin win?
Yeah,
Was Kentucky outplayed or did Kentucky defeat themselves?
That's a good question, but I think maybe it's a little bit of both, but I'm leaning heavily towards Wisconsin won that game. Because we talked about this. This was going to be a battle. I mean, Wisconsin lost last season in the Final Four, last second shot. They're back a year wiser. They're a little stronger, more mature. We knew that they were going to be hungry, a little chip on their shoulder. They were going to bring it. Notre Dame came this close to beating Kentucky. We knew that Wisconsin. We talk a lot about, like, you're high on Decker, Kaminsky. These guys they're huge, they're physical. We knew that they would match up well against Kentucky. This was not going to be an easy win for them. So Wisconsin earned this victory.
I love Wisconsin's big man. I've been saying this. Sam Decker is probably my favorite player. Looking at Mike Dunleavy for Chicago Bulls, I believe almost if he led them in scoring, he's a great player. I think Decker could be that guy. 6'9", same height. Mobile, can move, kind of that swingman at 3 position that LeBron. Well, LeBron sometimes plays 2 guard, but he's not that powerful. But he can be a good shooter, a good all-around player. Probably going to be a good journeyman in the NBA. Probably play a lot of years if he stays healthy. Seems like that kind of player. I think Kaminsky could be the next Dirk.
Yeah.
I think he's that good. He's still young.
Yeah.
Dirk, took some time to grow. Dirk, I mean, is obviously one of the better big men of all time. But I think he could move into that.
Well,
spot.
Kaminsky, I believe, is a senior. So
he
he's
has
had
experience,
years to kind of progress. He didn't make that jump like after. He wasn't one and done. So this will be good for him. If anything, I could see him transitioning well into the NBA.
We are getting low on that clock, so let's talk about, before we go, let's talk about tonight's game. National championship game, Indianapolis.
Yes.
Who's winning? You have Duke or Wisconsin. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good game.
I'm going to stick to Duke. Originally, I went Kentucky-Duke championship game. Kentucky's not in it, so I'm going to stick with Duke. ACC.
I'm a Duke fan, but I'm scared. I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit scared because my Dukies, they're playing well right now. I think Coach K is coaching these they start 3 freshmen. 3 freshmen. Jahlil Okafor, maybe the best big man in the land. We'll see. He's going up against Kaminsky tonight. We will see who is the best big man in the land. I'm rooting for Duke, but I'm scared of Wisconsin. I'm scared. I'm nervous. So we're going to go into our next topic here. We're going to reset that clock. We're going to talk about some NBA action.
Fantastic.
NBA is great. More exciting things yesterday. I mean, just more exciting stats.
These last few months have been pretty nuts.
Westbrook, another triple-double.
Yep.
LeBron, triple-double.
41 for Harden.
Harden, 41 points.
Jeez, man.
I mean, it's great. You have a great Paul George makes his return to the Indiana Pacers after that one of those nasty leg breaks where the leg just looks like it's all dangly.
Yeah, I didn't see him coming so
Silver
soon.
from UFC had one of those injuries. Kid from Louisville a little while back had that kind of injury. Kevin Ware. It's just ugly injuries, but these kids, and Anderson Silva's not a kid. He's in his upper 30s. They seem to come back. They put a rod in the leg. They heal. They come back a year later.
Well, I mean, there was Anderson Silva, a little controversy with that win.
Yeah, he was doping. Yeah, he was using some drugs.
There was that. Let's not forget.
But it's such an exciting race. I think the most exciting thing about the playoff race is maybe the bottom spots in both the Eastern Conference and Western Conference.
Absolutely, because these are teams that you don't expect to really do much, but damn, do they fight out for the last few spots.
They do. I mean, so right now, let's talk about Paul George. Not Paul George so much, but about the Pacers in the East and battling for the Eastern. You think they can overtake the Celtics?
I sure think
the Celtics
they
are
could.
right now. Yeah.
I sure think they could. I mean, Paul George coming back. I'm surprised he's back, first of all. I think maybe it's a little too soon, but nonetheless, having him there, they're playing pretty good. They're playing pretty solid. They're not that far back. From Boston. What is it, like a game or so, maybe 2 at the most. So it's not. So having him, if anything, will help just emotionally, just lift their spirits a little bit, and just be that type of guy to come in and just help them play a little bit harder, get a couple extra wins. I mean, there's still a little bit of time left.
I'm excited for Paul George. I just hope he didn't come back too soon. I'm a little bit worried because the kid, he got hurt, real bad, and I just hope he didn't come back too soon. I know they want to get to the playoffs, but it's the 8th spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, he's a competitor. He's an NBA player. I appreciate giving his heart, playing his all. But we're gonna move to the Western Conference now. Let's talk about the West. Talk about Houston Rockets, and not the Rockets are safe. The Rockets are okay, but let's talk about their opponents. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And they are battling right now for the 8th spot. They are in the 8th spot, but they have the Pelicans, led by Anthony Davis, who if he was in Kentucky would be a senior right now. Great big man, MVP talk. I don't think he's going to get it, but he could be a future MVP for sure. Great young player.
These are.
The question is, do you think that Oklahoma City can hold that 8th spot?
Man, it's funny. I feel like Oklahoma City is only going to go as far as Russell Westbrook will take them, man, right now.
Another triple-double last
Again,
night.
no disrespect to those players. They play hard, but right now it almost seems like that's a one-man team almost. You know what I mean? And so, again, Pelicans kind of that way as well with somebody like Anthony Davis. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be a good race nonetheless. I think the Thunder can probably hold on to it.
I think the Thunder can hold on. I think Russell's playing just so well.
Yeah.
He's just dominating. He's another triple-double, but he's padding the stats.
Yep.
He's still selfish. Everybody's against this guy. The guy gets 15 assists a game the last 3 games. He's just selfish. He passes the ball too much. So what Russell needs to do is be like Kobe sometimes on the ball, score 80 points, then people get off his back.
Then people love him.
So there's some sport that I'm not as knowledgeable about that started yesterday. I don't really know. I don't even know what that team is. I've never been to Chicago. No, I've been to Chicago. Wrigley Field.
Yep.
Beautiful stadium. Had some bathroom issues last night. Opening day, the MLB. They had bathroom issues. The big news is opening day. Opening night. Opening night. Today is opening day.
Yep.
They had some bathroom issues.
Yeah.
They had to bring in some porta potties.
Had to.
They have a jumbotron. How do you like the jumbotron?
Weird. First of all, it's gorgeous, but it's so weird looking at that out there. How they didn't work out this bathroom situation though is kind of without me.
It's like, opening night. We'll talk about the bathrooms.
We got you a jumbotron, but there was no guarantee of any working restrooms. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean it's rough. It's not easy, but there was a game that went on.
There was a game.
That's the important thing. Opening day. We were in Los Angeles, so today the big game is Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Padres.
Yes,
in
that's
LA.
the game I'm looking forward to.
It'll be a great series, especially with the big trade, which we will talk about in a second. But we're going to go back to St. Louis at Wrigley Field with the Chicago Cubs. Not looking good for the Cubs. Opening day, 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, a lot of hype this year going into Chicago, and rightfully so. A lot of big moves being made.
But what if you had, Chris Bryant?
He would have hit 4 home runs yesterday.
They would have won the game. Easy. The Babe Ruth of preseason.
Fortunately, we have 161 more chances, so I think we're in good shape. But no, nonetheless, I think this was a good game. I don't think this is an indicator, though, for what the Cubs are going to look like. I think this is a good indicator to what St. Louis is going to look like, because right now I see them winning the division. That division's always pretty tough. Good competition within the Central. I still see them winning the division, but the Cubs, they looked a little out of it. Head games, I don't know what's going on. They didn't look like this. Not that they were like killing it in spring training, but they looked like a different team. Nonetheless, I don't think they're going to be this type of team this season. Again, we still have Chris Bryant coming up. We still have guys that just need to kind of work out their rhythm and stuff. It's cold in Chicago. These guys come from like 80-degree temperatures in Arizona, so I'm blaming it on the temperature. No, but yeah, I mean, we've got a long ways to go. It won't be.
Is St. Louis better without Pujols over these last few years?
St. Louis is weird. I don't remember in my lifetime seeing a bad St. Louis team. So even though Pujols is gone, I mean, they still find ways to keep it going.
So opening night was big. Big night. Opening days today. A lot of baseball games.
Yeah.
If you're a baseball fan, this is heaven for you. I got friends in Detroit. See them on Facebook, on Twitter, talking about going to Comerica Park. I've been to Comerica Park. It's a beautiful park. I might not be the biggest baseball fan, but I do love going to the games. I love the environment. I love the atmosphere. I love the Dodger dogs. Not very good for you, but they taste great. Let's talk a little bit about the big trade yesterday.
Stealing the show. Stealing
the show out of opening night.
Yeah,
the Atlanta Braves trade probably the best closer in the NL at that time, to the Padres.
Again, man, the Padres just doing big things. I mean, they're in it to win it. It's definitely more short term because, I mean, these guys in 2017, the Padres are going to have to pay, like, for their big-name players, roughly, like, almost $70 million.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens when that rolls around. But right now, I think they're only, like, 18th, I think, in payroll. So that's not too bad. But they're in it to win it right now. They're going to be a fun team to watch. But I think definitely a good move on San Diego's part.
What do you think with Kimbrel? Does this guarantee them a World Series?
I wouldn't say it guarantees them a World Series, but definitely a playoff contender. Seriously, a team to be taken seriously because, again, Dodgers have been looking good last few years, but have struggled in the postseason. So this could be the Padres' year.
Big baseball day. We spent half the time talking about bathrooms. That's opening day baseball. No, I'm actually looking forward to this season because Michael's a huge fan, so he's kind of bringing me into the game more. So I'm excited about it. So we can get that clock rolling. we're going to go move completely to the opposite side of the spectrum. We're going to talk about some European football, soccer as we call it here in the States. Talk about some La Liga specifically because Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the best player in the world, yes, Messi supporters, the best player in the world, scored 5 golazos yesterday. Golazos.
He sure did.
Which means like big goal.
He sure
He
did.
scored 5 goals yesterday.
9-1.
In a 9-1 victory.
9-1 over
9-1.
Granada.
5 goals.
That's huge. That's like almost like, I don't know, in baseball, beating a team like 21-1 or something.
Yeah, 9-1
like that.
is
That's
not a
just
common.
crazy.
That's like in hockey when that happens. That's huge too.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's huge. No, this was a great game for them. I mean, they won yesterday, but hey, so did Barcelona. So they didn't.
That's
really...
the funny thing because the thing is, we talked about last week. We talked about El Clásico, the big match, which happens seems like 5 times a year, but a couple times a year when Barcelona and Real Madrid meet. It's huge. They say like 500 million people watch it. I don't know if that many people really watch it, but it's a big match. And they lost. So they're 4 points back, just like hockey. Each win is 3 points. A tie is 1 point. So the thing is, they may have scored 9-1, but Barcelona won 1-0. They're still up 4 points.
Yeah.
Unless there's a tie at the end of the season and maybe Real Madrid wins on goal difference.
Exactly.
Otherwise, 9-1, 2-1, 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, this is hopefully for Real Madrid a confidence booster because they have Champions League coming up next week. Big matchup against Atletico
because
Madrid.
of late it's been a little bumpy for Real Madrid standards. It's been a little bumpy of late. So this is definitely a good motivational booster for them. But if anything, good thing to take from this is that Cristiano moves past Messi as the top scorer in La Liga.
Top scorer. 36 goals for Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at the stare down between those Blancos.
Rivals.
Two rivals. I don't think they really have that much beef. I mean, there was a great scene at the Ballon d'Or when Cristiano Ronaldo's Ballon d'Or is like the European, the big MVP win for the best soccer player in the world. And Cristiano's son was there, and Messi walks in. And Cristiano sends his son off, to say hi, and his son's shy, and he tells Messi that my son and I watch all your clips on YouTube and everything. So it's funny that Cristiano's son is actually a huge Messi fan. So I think they'd be friends if they were actually living with each other.
It's all media hype.
It's all media hype. But 36 goals for Cristiano, 32 for Lionel Messi. Last couple of years, it's been Cristiano. Because Messi's still young.
Yeah, he's got
Cristiano's 30 now. He's about 4 years younger than Cristiano.
Yeah, roughly something like that. So he still has. He's doing. I mean, he's got 32 goals in the season. He's not that far back. He's not struggling.
And everybody's always asking, is Messi slipping? I'm like, he's got 32 goals. Nobody in the Premier League has 32 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, in their league.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the top goal scorers in the world. So I mean, is Messi slipping?
Yeah.
It must be nice to be slipping and still score 32 goals.
Right.
I hope in the Ballon d'Or they give it to a goalie, Manuel Neuer from Bayern München.
Yep.
Sorry if I mispronounced them. My German's not great. I think he's a great goalkeeper, but it's like the Heisman in college football. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. Woodson won as a cornerback, but that's very rare. It's always going to be the offensive.
These rivalries are fun in sports.
Give the defensive guys some love.
They need some
Give
love.
the defensive guys some love. So we're going to finish off because it is championship day. Yep. So let's start that clock up. It's championship day. We're going to talk about Kentucky and their legacy. They have it's the most impressive performance since the whole new 64-team format has been introduced into the NCAA tournament. It was an impressive. I mean, it's hard to go undefeated. 1976. It has not been done. It's 2015, almost 30 years, 29 years. It's been a long time.
It's not easy to do. There have been a lot of great teams that have come and gone during that time since then that have, UNLV and what was it, 1990, teams like that. It's hard to do. I mean, look what happened to the Patriots when they tried to go perfect season.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do. There's a lot of pressure and stuff. But again, like we talked earlier, in Wisconsin, they brought it. They were a good team. So sometimes you have to learn to raise, your spirits up or do something to kind of get that win. I don't know.
And I think they still performed well. They never seem to fear to lose. I mean, they're always tough. Every time they had a couple close calls at overtime win during the regular season, like a couple maybe one 3-pointer. If that one 3-pointer would have went in a few games here against the LSU game, LSU would have won. It's just they're tough, but they never feared to lose. Even losing last night, I mean, one of the guys made a little comment about Kaminsky that he probably shouldn't have. You got to watch out with the racial slurs. Yeah. A little quiet about. There's cameras everywhere, but they always looked they look tough. They look resilient. Coach Calipari did a great job all season.
Yeah, they never look like they're desperate, towards in a game like Notre Dame, Wisconsin. They're really cool. But this is big though because the school and the retailers are losing out on millions of dollars by them not being in this championship game. It's huge. Especially for a program like Kentucky that was the talk of the whole entire tournament. And
even though Kentucky isn't necessarily a dynasty let's say the UCLA teams of yesteryear, but in looking at dynasties, you look at the Bulls, those dynasties don't really happen anymore. We're not seeing 6 championships in one. I mean, you look at the Spurs; it was a little more spread out.
Yeah.
Lakers, Kobe's got a bunch of rings, but it's not. I don't know if we're ever going to see a team like maybe the Bulls or like a UCLA team back in the day. It just doesn't seem like somebody can win that. The talent's too spread out.
That definitely
and you have George
seems,
Mason going like to the.
That definitely seems like that. Those teams that like even the Celtics of like what was the 50s and 60s won like 11 titles in a row.
Right.
Like those days are gone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, right now, you'd have to go back to what was it 2000 with the Lakers winning 3 titles in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the last team I think that's done that in basketball, right? Because we've had like back-to-back wins, so it's not easy to do so with a team like
even
Kentucky.
with the top talent in the country, which
Exactly.
Kentucky has, which Duke has. Duke doesn't go to the Final Four every year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough. It's hard.
But it's the thing, like, how is this going to affect Kentucky from this point on? Because the rumors of Calipari leaving, maybe he'll coach the Lakers. You've got all these young guys that are going to be probably one-and-dones. You know what I mean? So they're going to be losing out a lot. Granted, they have depth. They're Kentucky. They're going to be fine next year.
If Calipari leaves, I don't think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame for a while.
I could see that.
He keeps bouncing around too much. I think if he goes back to the NBA, he needs to stay. If he stayed at Kentucky, worked with those boys, forms a dynasty, gets to more tournaments, be like Izzo or Coach K, he could have a legacy. Maybe he doesn't care. Hey, he's going to make money. He goes to the pros. He's going to make money.
That's fine too, I guess.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the final? Send us your thoughts on who you think is going to win tonight. #3MW here at the stream.tv. We are going to be back tomorrow, of course. 9 a.m. as always, Pacific Standard Time. But we have a special surprise on Wednesday. We're going to be introducing A.J. Lawrence, who's going to be giving us the inside track, inside knowledge, the secret knowledge even Michael and I don't have.
Behind closed
USC
doors.
Journalism, smart girl, lawyer, very talented. Also, she works with the baseball team. So she's going to be in here, going to be breaking things down for us in another level that you haven't even seen yet on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Look forward to that. #3MW. Send us some questions, thoughts. I'm David Griffin. As always, you can find me at GriffinDE on Twitter.
You can also find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis, and David and myself right here on the stream.tv on the Arrow After Show.
We'll be back to you tomorrow. We'll talk about some more sports on 3 Minute Warning. Enjoy the game tonight.